My name is Drew Colbert, and I'm very happy and excited to welcome everyone here today. Thank you for coming down to Mary Ellen McCormack on this beautiful day. I can tell it's a Monday because it's sunny and gorgeous. So as we break ground on a project that represents more than just bricks and mortar, it symbolizes progress, equity, and opportunity. Building A is the first of 16, and it will create 94 new homes, all 100% affordable, offering safe, stable, and high-quality housing to individuals and families who need it most. As many of you know, the idea of redeveloping Mary Ellen McCormack long predates WIN's designation in 2017, and it certainly predates me graduating college. As someone now raising a family in Greater Boston, affordability and communities of opportunity mean a lot to me. This project is personal. For the first time since MEM opened in 1938, its residents will gain ownership stake in their future, real power and funding to direct resources where they're needed most. This is more than housing, it's dignity, it's opportunity. Over the course of the entire redevelopment, all 1,016 existing deeply affordable units will be replaced on site, remaining affordable in perpetuity, while new homes will be added to serve people of all incomes. We're creating open space, retail, and a long-needed grocer. We're finally connecting this site to the broader fabric of South Boston and Dorchester. And we're committed to providing employment opportunities for Boston residents, people of color, and women. We know that housing is a foundation for everything: health, education, economic opportunity, and community stability. Today's groundbreaking is a milestone in meeting that need and helping ensure that Boston remains a place where people of all incomes can live, can thrive, and belong. So thank you for believing, for pushing, for helping us get here. Today is just the beginning. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment to recognize the people not joining me on stage. Their persistence, feedback, and faith in this process have brought us to this day. First, thank you to my immediate and extended family. I can now enjoy the holidays without being asked whether my South Boston project has started. The entire team at WIN, accounting, asset management, compliance, connected communities, construction, development, legal, marketing, property management, sustainability, and MOB. The organization is truly best in class. The Building A project team, including TAT, Copley Wolf, HSH, NEI, VHB, McPhail, DLA Piper, Robinson & Cole, and master planning team members CBT, Graffito, and PAL. The Building A construction team, which is an incredible joint venture between H.J. Russell and Lee Kennedy, with the project being proudly built by the building trades. Our workforce development and resident hiring partners at Building Pathways and Emerald Cities Collaborative. Andrew Square and South Boston neighbors, notably the Andrew Square Civic Association members and leadership that work around the clock to enhance the quality of life in this neighborhood. The team of 30-plus South Boston and Greater Boston community organizations led by Connected Communities, YMCA of Greater Boston, and the Task Force. This collaborative is focused on creating a mixed-income community of opportunity through innovative, outcomes-focused model. Key partners include South Boston and Action, Artists for Humanity, and South Boston Neighborhood House. And lastly, the residents of Mary Ellen McCormack. Thank you. Thank you for entrusting us with the transformation of your home. I know our plans reflect your vision for the new community. We are humbled now by the opportunity to deliver it. And now the speaking program. Our first speaker has lived and breathed this project alongside us from the beginning. She represents the thousands of residents that call this community home. Along with key task force members Kelly Martin and Patrick O'Malley, she has participated and weighed in on every aspect of this development, from the paint colors and corridors to the community partners and programs serving residents. As the president of the Mary Ellen McCormack Task Force for nearly 15 years, she has been and remains the voice of its residents. And today, she joins us as an invaluable partner making this project a reality. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Carol Sullivan.
Well, good morning, everybody, and what a turnout we have today. And I bet the tenants of Mary Ellen McCormack are very happy. I won't be getting knocks on my door at 11:30 at night anymore, going, what's going on? And the groundbreaking, it started, and I was going to talk a little bit about the other buildings, but I want to focus on Building A right now, which we're sitting on, the ground. The task force and I have been playing, like Drew said, an intricate part in what's going on in this building. I've reached out to many of you that are here, plus the ones that are going in Building A, to find out what their concerns were and what they wanted. Went back to Gilbert Wynn, who's sitting right here, and told him what their concerns was, and we got everything that you wanted. We will have the same as the market rate people and others. It's just unbelievable. So, and to the concerns of phone calls, keep your phone calls up, keep texting me, keep getting me on heads up on Facebook. I'll answer your questions. That's not a problem. But we will stay at 30%, washer and dryers in-house at each unit. And I look forward to seeing the foundations rise up higher, the walls go in, and for the first ones, when we all go in and view what the magnificent job and how this is going to look, and so upscale, it'll be something that Building A is going to be all affordable right now, and it's going to be something that I didn't even expect. It'll be that out of this world. So I'm going to give it back to Drew, and thank you for the great welcome, and enjoy the day. Oh, one quick thing. Have a happy 4th of July, and please, please do not take your pets to watch the fireworks. It frightens them so. My cat won't come out of the bathroom till it's over. So it hurts their ears, so have a safe and happy 4th of July, and that's it. So have a great day.
Thank you, Carol. As I said earlier, the rebirth of Mary Ellen McCormack has been a long-held dream. No one understands that history better than our next speaker, Congressman Stephen Lynch. He is directly responsible for securing multiple rounds of funding for the future Billy McGonigal Community Center at Mary Ellen McCormack, and being a champion for HUD Section 8 funding. Without such, this project would not be feasible. He has represented South Boston and our Commonwealth on Capitol Hill for almost 25 years. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Stephen Lynch.
Thank you, Andrew, for that kind introduction to my colleagues in government, Governor Healy, Mayor Wu, State Senator Collins, State Representative Beal, and Councilor Flynn. Councilor Erin Murphy is at another event, but she has been a long-time champion of this cause. To my friend Carol Sullivan, the Mary Ellen McCormack Task Force Executive Director, to the tenants of the Mary Ellen McCormack Housing Development, to the members of the Andrews Square Civic Association that have really, they're my bosses, and They have been the heart and soul of this mission for a very, very long time. I'm so excited to be able to take part in this groundbreaking and to actually get this project started. It's an honor to be here with you as we break ground on this long-awaited project. Just a little bit of context. I started out, when I was in law school at Boston College Law School, I earned my stripes as a pro bono attorney down here, representing families in the Mary Ellen McCormack housing development who had asbestos on their pipes. They had lead paint on the windows. So this moment has a special level of satisfaction for me. I remember the first meeting we had on this. I was the state senator, and I was with my colleagues, Congressman Joe Moakley, God bless him, Mayor Tom Menino, Representative Jack Hart, who is here today, City Councilor Jim Kelly, and City Councilor Michael Flaherty. Back in the day, it was the BHA director was Sandra Henriquez. And again, we had a whole different group of the Mary Ellen McCormack Tenants Task Force. That was a long, long time ago. And now I'm so proud that at long last we'll begin the first phase of the Mary Ellen McCormack Housing Complex development, which will provide current residents with more modern, spacious apartments, replacing the crumbling infrastructure of the existing buildings and improving access to the entire South Boston neighborhood. Residents in Building A, this building, will have 73% increase in open spaces inside their apartments, while also having access to expanded resident services. This project will not only provide new and much-needed housing to the tenants of one of the oldest public housing developments in the country, but it will also more than double the number of housing units on site, including the addition of 100% affordable senior housing with the potential to add workforce housing as well. Additionally, last year, alongside Senator Markey and Senator Warren, my colleagues who are fighting the good fight today down in Washington, D.C., we were able to secure $850,000 in federal community project funding for the new YMCA Community Center. Going to be huge, going to be huge. That will be located here at the development, the Mary Ellen McCormack Housing Development, and named in honor of our good friend and colleague, former BHA Administrator Billy McGonigal. This is truly a one-of-a-kind project. It shouldn't be that way. I'm hoping that it'll become the national model, and it'll set a precedent for the rest of the nation about what public housing and deeply affordable housing can look like. I want to thank my colleagues in government for their work and their collaborative in bringing this project to life. Not long ago, the now Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, joined me in a walkthrough here, and we explained he was heading a task force in Congress on revitalizing, expanding opportunities for affordable housing across the United States. We walked through the Ann Lynch homes at Old Colony, named after my mom, who was one of the My mom was one of the spearhead tenants back in the day when we were trying to get a library, of all things, established in the housing projects, in the Old Colony housing projects. So all that just brings such great satisfaction to see where we are today. But without the relentless advocacy for this development by the tenants here at Mary Ellen McCormack, we would not be where we are today. And since day one, they have invested so much time, so many meetings we have sat through to shape the vision of what we're seeing come to fruition. Having just redeveloped the Ann Lynch homes at Old Colony, the public housing development where I grew up, that is now, as I said, named after my mom, I've seen the impact that such monumental improvements to living spaces can have on residents. Quick story. I'm marching in the St. Patrick's Day parade 2 years ago. The Ann Lynch Homes had just opened. New tenants were in there. 2 moms. This is just a snapshot of what it means to people to have new, decent, beautiful housing when they lived on the edge of homelessness. 2 moms on Dorchester Street as I'm marching by physically grabbed me and said, "You got to come see our new apartments. They're so beautiful." And the pride in their eyes. You know, my staff had to explain, no, this is a parade. We can't do this. We got to keep going. But just the sheer joy and the pride of their eyes and their kids standing behind them. They're so proud of their new homes that they wanted to show me. They wanted to take me on a tour. That's what's happening here. That's the end result. That's the aha moment and the magic of creating affordable housing for people who are living on the hard edge of life. And it's giving them and their children a safe place, a loving place, a supportive place to live, to feel safe under that roof, and to be in a community of people who all care for them. That's all happening here. When completed, this project will have truly, in human terms, changed the lives of so many people. I'm so proud to represent this neighborhood of South Boston and the rest of my district as well, and the residents of the Mary Ellen McCormack housing development every day down in the United States Congress. Lastly, as a member of the Boston Building Trades and the Massachusetts State Building Trades, I am so proud that this project has a project labor agreement. The Massachusetts Building Trades and the Boston Building Trades looks just like this city. All the diversity, every neighborhood, every gender, every classification that you could think of is represented in the building trades today. They've done a magical job in terms of making that union movement look like this city. And because this project, this whole development will be part of a PLA with Lee Kennedy Company as the lead contractor, we'll be able to have kids that have grown up in these public housing developments actually work on the project. Some of the union stewards who will be taking care of those workers will be on this project. And because they're union jobs, every worker on this project will have a pension, they'll have health benefits, they'll have vacation pay, annuity pay, and they'll have a safe working environment in which to do their work. That's all part of this project. So again, I want to congratulate all I noticed over there, Mike Durain is here, the former chairman of the Mass Housing Development. Thank you, Mike, for all your work. This project has taken a long, long time, but today, as they said, is the very beginning. So to my neighbors, thank you for your leadership in projecting your desires and your sense of justice on the elected officials who represent you, because that's the magic of democracy, and that's what made this project happen. God bless you all, and have a happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Our next speaker has been a fierce advocate for affordable housing since taking the Commonwealth's highest office in 2023. One of her pieces of signature legislation includes the Affordable Homes Act. She is spearheading policies, programs, and financing that are already working to ease the Commonwealth's housing crisis. Before welcoming our next speaker, I'd like to give thanks to her elevated cabinet member, Secretary Augustus, and the entire team at the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. Without EOHLC, this project would not be possible. Her administration has never wavered in its support for a better quality of life for the residents of Mary Ellen McCormack. Please join me in welcoming Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey.
Thanks, Drew. Well, good morning, everyone. It is really wonderful to be here today, to be here with our team from the administration, which also includes our Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll, Ed Augustus, who has just done an incredible job. You know, this was a new position. Housing was our #1 priority as an administration. How are we going to build more housing around this state so we can lower costs? We put Ed in charge, created that new cabinet position, and you and the team, I'm so grateful to you, Ed, for all that you're doing. I also want to thank another partner in this. Crystal Cornegay's here from Mass Housing. Their job is the bank, get that money out the door, work with companies around, developers around the state to build more housing. Special shout out to Congressman Lynch. Thank you for all that you do for us down in DC, and it's really, I know, particularly poignant for you to be here. We just heard you speak about what this really means to you personally, and that's why we're doing this work. That's why we're doing this work. We want housing to be something that's abundant here in Massachusetts, where everybody has a shot at a dignified living and dignified housing, and that's what today is fundamentally about. I want to thank our partners, Mayor Wu, great to see you, and Kenzie Bach from the City of Boston, our colleagues in the legislature, Senator Collins, Rep. Beal, also from the City of Boston, of course, Councilor Flynn, City Council President Louisiane, thank you. And then to all these, you know, I love anything, team sport, team effort. And when I think about the team that goes into something like this, I think about the tenants first, the residents. Carol, thank you so much for all of your advocacy and really giving us all a few lessons in leadership. We thank Ted Chandler from the AFL-CIO Investment Trust, Mihail Chamberlain from the Bank of America. We thank Mark Tendon from Mass Housing for what you've done. Frank Callahan has mentioned Mass Building Trades and the Boston Building Trades. Really exciting to see this be something that goes forward with a PLA. I want to thank in particular Gilbert and Arthur Wynn Companies for their work here and all around the state. We thank you for your persistence and your stick-to-itiveness. We love coming to all your ribbon cuttings, okay? So you just keep them coming. I know you will. I want to give a special shout out to somebody on your team, Michael Bryan, who worked really hard on this particular project for more than 8 years, quietly dedicating himself to making this happen. So it's really great. Look, I know we're on a site right now where you don't have wheelchair accessibilities, you don't have any, poor infrastructure. I'm sure we could go on about the conditions, and what people have worked through over the years. But this is going to be a whole new ballgame, this new site. I mean, it's going to have beautiful buildings, as Carol talked about. It's also going to have a veterans park where we're going to be able to honor our veterans as they should be honored. It's going to have a splash pad and a park for kids for hot days like this. And important developments like the Mary Ellen McCormack development are why we cut taxes 2 years ago. And I just want to say that when we cut taxes, we tripled our low-income housing tax credit. And you see it being used in projects like this today. They're part of what enables projects like this to happen. We also expanded the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that helped this project as well through the transformative $5 billion Affordable Homes Act. And for the first time, this site will also offer a broader mix of residents with new units for middle income and market rate renters as well. This is housing done right. This is what we can be doing and should be doing all around the state, where affordability, opportunity, and quality are all together and are all upheld to reimagine what housing can be. We know that a housing shortage is hurting residents, hurting seniors, hurting families, hurting business, and that's why we are just doubling down on our commitment to building as many new homes as quickly as possible all around the state. I want everyone who calls Massachusetts home to be able to afford one. Simple as that. And that's why our housing strategy is ambitious. It's what we need in this moment. Again, none of this today would be possible without the partnership, the federal level, to the local level, to the housing authorities, community advocates, and so many more, all coming together to get this done. Thank you for bringing this project to life, and let's keep building.
Thank you, Governor. In the first 3 years of her term as mayor of the city of Boston, Michelle Wu and her team have created more affordable housing and helped more families become homeowners than any in a 3-year period of this century. Her bold efforts to modernize and streamline the city's development process have been and will be critical to keeping this important project on track in the years to come. I'd like to specifically recognize the efforts of the Planning Department, the Mayor's Office of Housing, Assessing, Inspectional Services, Disabilities Commission, Transportation Department, and many more in making this project possible. Please join me in welcoming Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, and what an exciting, exciting day to be a part of. I am so honored to join this incredible group on stage, all the leaders who have worked so hard to get us to this point, and also our community and so many who have passed the baton on. So thank you so much to the governor and her entire team, LG, secretary, and all of the folks across the state infrastructure. It's amazing to partner with you so much, and the governor says all the time that Massachusetts is #1 in every way, just about, including having a child, and she really walks the walk, as you can see. So thank you for everything, Governor. We are so blessed to work alongside you. Thank you to all my colleagues in elected office, your local delegation here, who always fights so hard and makes sure that we are doing everything possible for this community. Congressman Lynch and Senator Collins, Representative Beal, Councilor Flynn, thank you so much for all that you do. I want to recognize that in addition to the predecessors who are out there, Senator Hart, thank you, thank you. I ran into my friend Bill Linehan. Where's Councilor Linehan, who was here earlier too. So thank you for all that you do and have been priming this moment. To our partners on the financing side, Mark and Ted and Michal and everyone at Mass Housing and beyond, this really shows the jigsaw puzzle or Jenga stack that is in place, and it's taken so much from so many people. So we're really thankful for your creativity, your patience, and your stick-to-itiveness making this happen as well. And to our partners, Drew and Gil and Mr. Wynn and the whole Wynn team, thank you for doing so much for the city over so many generations. Some of the projects and the communities that we are proudest of have reflected back not only the spaces that people get to live in, but the processes and the ways that all of our community members have been heard and partnered in doing this. So thank you for keeping it going, and I will echo what the governor said. Shout out to Carol and the entire task force. You all are an inspiration. It's been fun to join you every year at Unity Day and now to be here at this moment. So thank you for everything. And finally, I want to double down on the folks from the city who I'm here to represent in sharing some of the pride and gratitude that we have. So to Sheila and our entire team on the housing office, the numbers that you heard from Drew, most affordable housing over the last 3 years and in several generations. It's because of their persistence and their hard work. I'm blessed every day to partner alongside our City Council President, Ruth Loujen. Thank you, Madam President, for your leadership citywide and making sure that we are creating homes for everyone. And to our BHA team, can all our BHA folks raise a hand? Thank you for everything that you do day in and day out. You take care of every part of our family's lives. And I also want to just note that today, once again, Kenzie Bach is working on her birthday. So we hope that this will be a birthday present for our administrator. And thank you, Kenzie, for everything that you do. Thank you for Kate Bennett and all those who have been involved building up the BHA. I want to shout out Ellen as well. So thank you for everything that your family has done. Okay, so what I wanted to say is happy July 4th, the 249th anniversary of our country's independence. In Boston has already been celebrated as 250 years in many ways because we are the reason and the cause that we can have a July 4th. From the recent Bunker Hill commemorations to all of the Tea Party. We've already been through the 250th, and we're coming for Evacuation Day in a couple months, and then we will be celebrating with the rest of the country. But it is because Boston has always been the first. We have never been satisfied just waiting until someone else comes along and tells us how to do something. That is the story of Boston, but that is also the story of the Mary Ellen McCormack development and community. When this was built, the federal government didn't really understand or have an organized program for public housing. And so this development led the way around the country. It was one of the first places where a housing community had hot water, where they had laundry facilities on site. And in that way, we, from the very beginning, have been focused on how to make sure people can take care of their families and have basic dignity. Now, in Boston, we also know that being the first will soon mean that you're the oldest if you don't maintain things over in time and renovate and redo them. So today we're making right on that part of it with what will be beautiful, incredible spaces and homes. As the governor also mentioned, getting to refurbish all of the other pieces to it too, whether it's the YMCA or the Veterans Park, and making sure that that history, a home for veterans and their families, continues to be embedded here in the new development, including the 2,200 new homes that will be created. This is going to be absolutely spectacular for our residents to be in healthy, clean, beautiful, state-of-the-art housing with, again, leading the way, getting ahead of the curve for what people deserve to raise their families. And finally, thank you so much, because we say all the time that housing is the #1 issue on people's minds. And yes, it's about costs and it's about affordability, but I think housing is the most intrinsic part of how we think about our lives, because it's not really about the buildings. It's about the place where you feel safest and most yourself and at home with the people that you love. So for every building that we're building, every unit that we're adding to our count, that is another family, another generation that's going to feel that this city, this Commonwealth, this country cares about them, values what they are giving to our community. You've already seen the leadership that emerges when parents and grandparents and cousins and aunties and uncles are working so hard, doing everything right and pouring into their kids, raising them in our public housing communities. They turn out to be congressmen and doctors and teachers and police officers and the people who are leading our community in every way. So thank you for investing in this space. Thank you for building the buildings that are going to be home to the next generation of leaders and Bostonians who will continue shaping our history. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next speaker, in her prior role as Senior Advisor for Policy and Planning, challenged our team to rethink the development and phasing strategy. This direction resulted in a fine-tuned relocation and development plan that constructs a surplus of affordable replacement units, maximizing the number of one-way moves for existing families directly into their new home. Since 2017, we've had the pleasure to work closely with her predecessors, Bill McGonigal and Kate Bennett, along with the entire BHA team from the site level to Chauncey Street. Every day, she fights to protect the interests and safeguard the futures of the 60,000 people living in BHA housing. She is one of the hardest working, detail-oriented people I know. Please join me in welcoming Wynn's partner in the transformative project, BHA Administrator Kenzie Bach.
Thank you, Drew, so much. And thank you to Mayor Wu. I think it is important to know, and maybe too well kept a secret, that just in her 3 years in office, between the city's capital budget and ARPA dollars, the city of Boston has put hundreds of millions of dollars into public housing in the city, more than any mayor in the history of the city. So I just really want to lift that up. As Drew just alluded to, I actually started at the BHA back in 2017, about 3 weeks after Wynn was designated. And one of my early roles was as a project manager on the BHA side on this project. So I've been working with Drew and with Gilbert and the whole team from way back when. And it's just, it's been such a great joy to work together. And what the mayor and others said about sort of the problem-solving approach of the Wynn team is so true. And it means so much that we've finally gotten to this point. So thank you to them. I was working at the time for Kate Bennett, who is in the back over there, my predecessor as administrator at the BHA, so I want to give her another shout out. And in another sense, I was already working for Carol Sullivan. So I really want to give a huge shout out to Carol, to the whole task force, to Patrick, Kelly, Anna, Ada, Douglas, Dunya, Stanley, and everybody who's been part of the task force. I mean, you've sort of heard it along the way here, but they have been so involved in the design and the planning and everything from relocation to the washer dryers in unit to thinking about the community facilities. Like, this has all been them. And thank you to all the partners who have helped them along the way, Klein Hornig, Ryzen, GBLS. They've had a great team and they've done incredible work. I want to give a huge shout out, and I see many members of it in the audience, to the South Boston community for your support of this project. Andrews Square Civic Association, the South Boston elected officials to my left and behind me, Congressman Lynch. I can't describe, I go and meet with other public housing heads around the country, and I talk about this site where we're going from 1,000 units to 3,300 units. And people always say to me, they say, wow, the community opposition to that must have been insane. And I say, no, the community have been cheerleaders for this project. They have recognized that our residents here in BHA deserve state-of-the-art homes, and they have recognized that there's an opportunity to have a mixed-income community here that doesn't trade those two things off against each other and make sure that we're replacing every deeply affordable unit and also adding that mixed-income density. And we could not have gotten here if all of these residents in South Boston, and especially, again, I want to thank Andrews Square Civic and the elected officials here on the stage, had not been Yes in My Backyard folks on this project. So please, a huge round of applause for all of them. You know, that really secured the vision, but we have still needed financing. So I am incredibly grateful to our just steadfast state partners on this, Governor Healy, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, our Secretary Ed Augustus, since he came into his role leading EOHLC, has been to this site 4 times as of today. So, and it's a big state out there, so we really appreciate his dedication and the enormous resources that the state has marshaled, both in terms of direct resources from EOHLC and the huge support coming from Mass Housing, led by Crystal Cornegay, and we'll hear from Mark Teeden. It's just like this is a joint project. And we appreciate that, especially because it is a federal public housing project. And so we appreciate that the state has recognized that it's one of our biggest low-income communities in the state and that they can also play a leadership role. So please, thank you so much to our state partners. I also want to thank HUD for the subsidies, the public housing, and then Section 8 subsidies that make this possible, especially the deeply affordable housing. And we've had some key partners who have retired recently. So I want to shout out Bob Suica, who was the Region 1 Director of Public Housing until recently here, Rhonda and Cara, who's with us still at HUD, and Maura and Jeff. It's a great field office team at HUD, and they work really hard, and I just want to thank them for all their leadership, and anybody from HUD who's here, thank you so much. This is a thank yous kind of day, so I'll just echo the thanks to all the city departments. This is a big, complicated project, so ISD, assessing, planning, shout out to Mark McGonigal, who has a special connection to this project. Yeah, we can clap for that. the Mayor's Office of Housing, Disabilities. It's been a great team to work with, and you guys have been so supportive whenever we've called about anything. And then I really want to give huge thanks to my team. So Joe Bamberg has really captained this for real estate development. Amy Tran is here. Chris Connolly is now our project manager, so he's got my old job. Katie McGonigal runs our whole leased housing and admissions department. So Angela and Nancy Otero and Lauren Miller. I mean, these are folks who relocation is our number one concern at BHA, because our whole goal is to do this development for our current residents. So making sure that we could have this first building go up where we had to take down a minimal number of buildings, and that we'll be able to move a lot of people from those buildings straight into this new building has been central for us. But there's still a lot of moving pieces, and so it's that team that's in the guts making sure that each family on this site is taken care of in the relocation process. And then we have a huge operations team here on the site, and these buildings built in 1938 require a lot of work, and this process is long. So because of that, we have to just keep working on them. So I'm super grateful to just, the whole operations leadership. So Josh, Kelly, George, who is retired, Rich Harrison, Mike Donovan, Ted Toland, Mercy Diaz, Steve Rem, and a special shout out to Isabel Hasty, who is our beloved manager here. Isabel is retiring at the end of next month, so we're doing this just in time for her. Shout out also to the communications team, Lydia, Brian, Gabby, Danny, and then basically part of our BHA team are Kathy Murphy, our lawyer, a very vital person, Pam McKinney, who helped us with the complicated finances of all of this, and I think he's in the audience, but Larry Dwyer, who's a local and has just been an incredible partner on this project. Again, money's vital, so I want to thank Bank of America, and I want to thank AFL-CIO HIT, the Housing Investment Trust. You're going to hear from Ted Chandler in a moment, but since the mayor shared that it was my birthday, I'm going to share that it is Ted Chandler's last day. He is retiring at the end of today. We really got this just in the nick of time. Folks may not know, but the AFL-CIO HIT, what it does is it mobilizes resources to support housing production where you've got good, high-quality union jobs, and that describes this project, and they've been the buyers of many, many bonds on many BHA projects. They're a really vital financing partner of ours. And we're really proud of that strong labor component of this project. So Congressman Lynch mentioned the project labor agreement we have on this site, making sure that all the jobs here are high-quality jobs, but also making sure that we've got this partnership with Building Pathways. I see Nancy here in the front to help get our BHA folks into these jobs. Building Pathways is really a national model for a pre-apprenticeship program, and it launched out of the BHA Trades partnership around Old Colony more than a decade ago. So we're very proud. We consider it a kind of in-house accomplishment. And we've also got we're trying a new thing with this PLA, and it's going to launch in the next few months, so we haven't tested it quite yet, but basically we've put a little bit of money aside in this project labor agreement to help support trades workers on this project who send their children to family child care that is owned by BHA residents, because there are almost 100 BHA families across the city of Boston who own family-based child cares, and we're trying to help support that circular economy of those businesses as well. So we're just continuing to try exciting things here. Huge thanks to Brian Doherty from this Trades for negotiating that PLA and everybody who's been part of that. So I wanted to end with the person who's really on my mind today, and that's Billy McGonigal. His wife Ellen is here with us, and I mentioned some of the other family as well. Yeah, we can clap for Ellen. So for folks who don't know, and that's probably only a couple of you, Billy grew up here at this development when it was called Old Harbor, and he started out sweeping floors at the BHA, and 40 years later retired as its administrator. Really came up through every level of the job, and because of that, he was a tenants administrator. He had sympathy for every resident issue. The only resident issue I ever saw him unsympathetic to was that somebody was pushing him on the fact that they needed a separate bedroom for every child in their family. And Billy said, me and my brothers, we used to share, we were in triple bunks. My nose was on the ceiling. So that was the only time I ever saw him limit his sympathy on an issue. But he was just, he was larger than life, and he cared so much about this development. And it was really, he was the one who pushed for us to do this RFP and talk about this transformation. And he recognized the potential in the site. When I worked at the BHA before, we actually had, some of you may have read about it in the papers, we had a case of somebody illicitly listed a BHA unit here at Mary Ellen on Airbnb, and which is not allowed, to be very clear. And the person, had written this Airbnb posting, and it was in the papers, and of course we got it taken down, and we evicted them because they weren't living in the unit, all that. But I remember Billy reading that listing aloud, and he was like, this is not allowed, but this person's got the right idea about Mary Ellen McCormack. Because the listing was like steps from 2 T stops, close to the beach, with like great views and a major park. It was like this, just beautiful sort of hymn to this site. And that is something that Billy McGonigal saw, and he saw that he wanted that and to lean into that potential while making sure the people who continue to benefit from it were our low-income public housing residents, right? And that is just that is the spirit that animates this project, and it's really his brainchild, and so I just want to honor him today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kenzie, and again, happy birthday. In true Southie tradition, our next 3 speakers fight hard for this neighborhood every day on Beacon Hill and in City Hall. The first has not only been a key ally for this specific development, but is also currently spearheading legislation to encourage public-private partnerships to create affordable housing on public property and expand rental assistance programs. The senator secured $10 million in bond bill funds through EOHLC and the BHA. It's already been invested in this project. Please join me in welcoming State Senator Nick Collins.
Good morning. Thank you, Drew. Thanks for the shout out, Bob. I like your shirt. I try to match the tie spirit. A lot to celebrate today. The legislature's passing the budget on time on June 30th. So I want to thank my colleagues in the legislature and the governor and lieutenant governor for keeping us on track. To Governor Healy, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, the Healy and Driscoll administration, Secretary Augustus, Director Cornegay. One of the first hearings I chaired under the current committee that I lead, State Administration and Regulatory Oversight, was to the creation of the Housing and Livable Communities Secretariat. And people had asked us, why are you creating more government? Is this, necessary? We felt that way at the time, and we believe it now with the great leadership under Secretary Augustus and his team to have a dedicated focus on housing reestablished in the Commonwealth. So I want to thank him and his team for their great work. For all the state support and funding and collaboration with the legislature, also to Mayor Wu, Administrator Bach, Director Dillon, and obviously my colleagues on the City Council, led by Councilor Flynn on this project, to Mark McGonigal and his team at the BPDA. I know they mentioned his mom Ellen as well, to the McGonigal family. And a special thank you to Congressman Lynch for the attention and support that he's brought to this project. His impact on the people in public housing is hard to describe, but just to put it in perspective, South Boston has more public housing than anywhere else in the state. And the 2 largest developments in the last 10 years are under reconstruction and redevelopment for another 100-year quality of life improvement, thanks to the leadership of Congressman Lynch. He's been here the entire time and has led the way, getting folks like Mike Durain. At the time, this started in Bill Linehan's office, I think, one of the first meetings with Senator Hart. And Kenzie, I was an early member of the legislature, and Kenzie was working in civil rights for the BHA, so it was quite a journey to get here. and to Representative Beal for his work in the State House. But this takes a village, as the saying goes. And from Carol and the Mary Ellen McCormack Task Force, the support from the community and the Linda Zablocki and the Industry Civic Association, there's just so many people who have come together to do this. I saw a friend of mine in the back who I grew up with, who's working on this project with Mass Housing. A childhood friend of mine, Mike Carthus. It's great to see Michael. And it's special because the two of us kind of were brought up in the same time and spent a lot of time at that 50-acre park across the street. I think he's known to hold the record in South Boston in strikeouts and in home runs. Was a great athlete, but he's dedicated his professional life to trying to deliver more affordable housing for more people. So I want to thank Mike and all the people at Mass Housing, the Housing Livable Communities Office, BHA, DND, tenant task forces across the city and state who dedicate their lives to this great cause. When Bill McGonigal retired after 4 decades of service, he was asked what he hoped people would remember about his time in public housing. And just before that, we had a chance to recognize Bill at the State House for all of his work in his career. And he said this, and I quote, "I hope my legacy is one of inclusion, someone who made a sincere effort to open up the public housing in the city to residents, applicants, and those in need of housing of every racial and ethnic background, and that I empowered residents, listened to them, and brought them to the table when it came time to make decisions. Let that legacy guide us. It is an honor to be a part of this today, though I know the work is only beginning. Thank you again, and have a happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Senator. Together with Senator Collins, our next speaker played a key role in sponsoring legislation that helped pave the way for this development to get shovels in the ground as quickly as possible, along with securing funding for the community center. Please join me in welcoming an absolutely rock-solid advocate for investing in affordable housing, State Representative David Beal.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor and privilege to be with you here today, and thank you for that kind introduction. A lot of stories have been shared here today, and I think it all comes down to one thing. This is what happens when government at all levels works together, works with residents, works with the private sector. This project is absolutely transformative. It represents historic investments in affordable housing, in workforce housing, to address a crisis that we're facing statewide, but that wouldn't be possible without buy-in from the federal level, the state level, and the city level. Whether it's securing investments in Congress, working alongside my colleague Senator Collins to bring resources from the State House for this project, or working with City Council Flynn on a home rule to make sure that this happens. The only way this happens is if we're all working together. And I want to thank the Wynn Company. From the beginning, this has been a resident-led initiative. Before anything was filed with the city, Wynn was out there engaging with residents, with Carol, with people that live here to create something that we all can be proud of. And it's been an honor and privilege to be a small part of that along this journey. As has been said many times, these conversations date back prior to my time in office. Proud to have continued to carry that forward and look forward to where we go next. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you for recognizing the importance of housing, and have a safe and happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Representative. Our next speaker is a lifelong resident of the city of Boston who has worked hard to make sure Boston residents have more options when trying to find a place to live that fits their budget. In City Hall, he has fought to improve access to affordable housing units and to make the rental housing application process easier. The councilor was integral to securing funding in the city's capital budget for upcoming phases of Mary Ellen McCormack. Please join me in welcoming City Councilor Ed Flynn.
Thank you, Drew, and thank you to the Wynn team. Have great respect for the Wynn family, for Arthur and Gil and Larry over here, Larry Curtis. But I also want to say thank you to Lee Kennedy and his team And also, especially to the residents, the task force, to Carol, the incredible leadership Carol and the residents have played in working with Mayor Wu's team and Kenzie Block's team and with the governor and the lieutenant governor and with the elected officials and Andrews Square Civic Association. But it's about the respect that we have for the residents of this wonderful development. They deserve a state-of-the-art development, and that's what they're going to get, is because we listened and we respect the residents here in Muriel and McCormack. I also want to say and congratulate and recognize, as Nick has recognized him, Mark McGonigal for the work that you have done. I know he's been recognized before, but Bill Lenahan and former City Council Bill Lenahan, but another gentleman that is not here that has been instrumental on this project as well, City Councilor Frank Baker. I want to say thank you to Frank. But this was really a city, state, and federal partnership. Thank you to, as I mentioned, to Mayor Wu, but I also want to recognize Mayor Walsh as well. The state under Governor Healy and the Lieutenant Governor. But it's really, the leadership really, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Congressman Lynch, who never gave up on this project. Never gave up on the residents here. And anytime there was a difficult time, Congressman Lynch would bring us together and work out the details. And it was built on respect, it was built on communication, and built on trust. But I want to say thank you to our federal partners, a special thank you to Congressman Lynch. We would not be here without his leadership. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Flynn. Affordable housing developers in other states are very jealous because we are blessed to be able to partner with Mass Housing, one of the best run, best funded state housing finance agencies in the United States. Without Mass Housing's incredible support, we would not be underway on this project today. Before introducing the next speaker, I'd like to personally give thanks to the incredible Mass Housing originations, underwriting, and legal teams that worked tirelessly on all aspects of MEM. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker, the Vice President of Multifamily Programs for Mass Housing, Mark Teeden.
Drew, thank you very much. You stole some of my thunder because some of my many thanks today are also to that same internal team. But first of all, I want to thank you and your internal and external teams for all that you've done, probably numbering in the hundreds of people to date. You're our largest partner. Appreciate the flattering remarks about Mass Housing, but you are our largest partner, and that reflects the magnitude of the problems that we're able to solve together, and we appreciate all of your team's efforts. I'd also like to special thanks to both Gil and Kenzie. There were a couple of points in the process here that the three of us got together to discuss what seemed like intractable problems, but based on a level of communication and respect, we were able to work through them and allow the teams to move forward to the closing. And I appreciate that relationship and partnership with the two of you in particular. Thank you. I suspect, knowing the challenges of this project, that'll be tested in future phases again. The work of the agency cannot be brought to life but for its people, its incredibly hardworking staff. I get to stand here in front of you all, but they do all the work. The primary win team in this case was Mike Karthus, Emily Loomis, and Jill Lavacchia. They just did an outstanding job bringing to bear the complications of the world that we inhabit of tax-exempt financing into the world that we work with in commercial real estate development. And I want to thank the three of you in particular and many, many more for the work that you did. A lot has been mentioned about the labor that has descended on the site and will continue. We'd also like to forward thank, if that's a word, probably numbering into the thousands of folks that will be working on the site, bringing it to a reality. Because no matter how hard we work, and everybody works before this day, until a project gets built, it cannot fulfill the vision that we have all been referring to today. And so we extend a sense of appreciation to everybody who will contribute working on the site in the coming months. So lastly, just again, a note of congratulations and thanks to Wynn. We really appreciate the partnership and look forward to many more.
Thank you, Mark. Our next speaker is no stranger to development in the city, having served as Chief of Staff and Chief Executive of the Boston Redevelopment Authority for 6 years in the late 80s and early 90s. Today, he's Senior Managing Director of Strategic Initiatives with one of our most important project partners. Please join me in welcoming Ted Chandler from the AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust.
Well, thanks, Drew. The AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust is a $7 billion fund that invests union pensions in building affordable housing with 100% union labor. And it means a lot when the people who are building the development are the ones who are also financing the development, their union pension being used to build it. And Frank Callahan from the Mass Building Trades, and I think Brian Doherty from the Boston Building Trades are with us today. Thank you. We at the HIT have invested more than $800 million in building housing in the city of Boston in every neighborhood of the city. I've looked at the ward map, Mayor, and it's every ward in the city, I'm proud to say. Nearly 5,000 for every neighborhood. It's nearly 5,000 homes in total in the city and close to 10,000 across the state. So thank you to Kenzie and to Kate. The BHA is a hugely important partner for us. We financed many BHA developments, many in the future, including Old Colony right up the street, the entire redevelopment. And we can't do that investment without our partners at Mass Housing. So thank you, Mark, and your entire team for that. Now, as Drew mentioned, I've had worked for the BRA starting in the mid-1980s. And so you could say my involvement with Mariella McCormack dates back a long way, because just after I started at the BRA, in 1987, the residents of Castle Square organized and came to us at the BRA and demanded to be part of new ownership where the development was being sold. And the buyer of Castle Square, Arthur Wynn, said yes to a radical idea at that time. And later, when the BHA was seeking a developer for Mariella McCormack, we reached out to Wynn to say, we want to join your team. And we chose Wynn because we knew of how they worked with the residents. And we also saw at Mission, Maine, the community that Wynn had built that attracted new development. We're the investors in 95 Saint, a new development right across the street from Mission, Maine, that would have been unthinkable when I was at the BRA in the mid-1980s and early 1990s. So you could say I've been working on Mariella McCormack for a very long time. And this is a particularly special day for me because, as Kenzie said, this is my last day of work. Every day is Saturday from now on. So we're very proud to be here. We know Wynn is building with 100% union labor, under the PLA with the BHA, giving residents an opportunity for careers in union construction. And to be honest, I can't think of a better team to have started my career with or a better place to finish after nearly 40 years in this business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted, and happy retirement. Our next speaker represents this project's top private sector partner, Bank of America. No other bank in the United States invests more in affordable housing as a vehicle for community development. In 2024 alone, the bank invested $7.8 billion in American neighborhoods, and in the last 10 years, it has financed 300,000 units of affordable housing. As the construction lender and federal and state tax credit investor, the bank's debt, equity, and legal teams are true partners and a pleasure to work with. Please join me in welcoming the President of Bank of America in Massachusetts, Michal Chamberlain.
So, thank you, Drew, and on behalf of my colleagues here from Bank of America, if you can raise your hand over here, that were the team that worked with Win. It's a real thrill and honor to be with you today, and I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and wants to hear a banker speak too much, so I'm going to keep my comments super short, and it's really about thanks and gratitude. First of all, to the Wind companies, you guys have been fantastic partners for over 40 years. Our team loves working with you. We wish we could do every project with you. That's how great you are to work with. And when I had the chance to walk around with Drew a few years ago for a site visit, it was clear to me how much time and thought Wind has put into this development. They listened to the community and they acted on it, and they're going to put together an incredible product for everybody that lives here. So thank you first to Wind. Second, our state and local officials that also worked incredibly hard on this, the Mary Ellen McCormack Task Force and also the Boston Housing Authority. I particularly want to shine a light on Congressman Lynch. He and I sat down about 5 years ago. He underscored to me how important and how incredibly personal this opportunity and this development was for him and his neighbors, and how it would revitalize such an important part of our city. We are thrilled to work in a private-public partnership with everyone around this table here, and to see this thing come to fruition is incredibly gratifying to us at Bank of America. So thank you, Congressman Lynch, for doing that. Finally, I just want to thank the citizens and this incredible community in South Boston. We have a son who lives down the street here now, so I feel part of the community as well. And thank you for your patience, your optimism. This is going to be an incredible place to live. We know how important economic mobility is. When you have a home, you can get there, and community stability is incredibly important as well. So thank you. You have the commitment that we'll be here for other projects, Mayor, and the rest of you around the table. And again, thank you for such a momentous day, and we look forward to seeing the finished product.
Thank you, Michal. Our next and final speaker today spent a good chunk of his childhood at his father's side right here in the city of Boston, attending meetings with public housing residents who are fighting for better homes and a better quality of life. Public housing in Massachusetts has no better private sector ally. It is an understatement to say that this development, the largest in our company's history, stands as the signature accomplishment of his career. Please join me in welcoming Wynn Company's CEO, my friend and mentor, Gilbert Wynn.
When somebody walks up here without notes after a long speaking program, that could be a good thing or a very bad thing. But I'm going to keep it brief. Can we first just have a round of applause for Drew and the great leadership that he's shown? So to paraphrase a pretty famous federal elected official, success has 1,000 fathers and failure is an orphan. And I will say that today's event and all the speakers here and all the attendees certainly puts it in the former category. This is a huge success. And as a son of a father, I want to thank, first and foremost, my father, Arthur Wynn, for being, that's a good, for being not just a mentor to me in business and in life, but in really jump-starting this project. Mary Ellen McCormack will be, almost in every way, a culmination of all the things that Wynn has done in various cities and various states over 55 years. It will have every aspect of mixed income, tenant participation, environmental sustainability, creation of jobs, the highest quality affordable housing that sets the level for everyone else in the country, sound management. It will have everything, and I'm really proud to have it all in one place and as an important a project as could be at Mary Ellen McCormack. I also want to shout out Carol Sullivan. It was no coincidence that Carol was our first speaker when we had such important people up here like the congressman and the governor and the mayor and all the elected officials. We wanted Carol to speak first because not only is she a partner in the tenant task force here, but she is the embodiment of what this is all about. This is not about bricks and sticks. This is about communities. And Carol, congratulations, because this will be a great one. Another father-son reference, I want to shout out my family as well. My son Rand's here today, who's very interested in all my construction projects and comes with me to visit all of them. And my beautiful and talented wife, Karen, thank you for being such a great support to me. So I'm gonna end the program with another quote. It has not been said maybe that the name of this building is the Embark. And we named it the Embark because, of course, it's next to the water and you can think of Old Harbor and you can think of ships. But in many ways, we are embarking on a decades-long vision to create a new community. And this will be the point we embark from. So to quote Winston Churchill, this isn't the end. This isn't even the beginning of the end, but this may just be the end of the beginning. So thank you, and let's embark on a great journey together. Thank you. Well.